Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Rare Talk series, a series where individuals can talk about issues and situations within the rare disease space to help raise awareness for a specific disease. We try to speak to people who have the same condition but at different life stages to help try and show the daily struggles of living with these conditions and to raise awareness. My name is Chelsea, and I am the youth coordinator for Rare Youth Revolution, and I will be hosting the talk today. I'm here with Iona and William. Would you both like to introduce yourselves?
You go first, Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm 17 and I've been diagnosed with Cavernoma for the last 3 years.
I'm Iona, I'm 21 and I was diagnosed in 2018 with Cavernomas.
Okay, so the first question is, how would you describe your condition to someone who hasn't heard of it before, and how does it affect your daily life?
So a Cavernoma is basically a little raspberry that appears in either someone's brain or spine. I think I get this right still. Yeah, it's a little raspberry that appears in someone's brain or spine, and it causes, for some people, it causes problems. For other people, it causes nothing at all. And some people don't even know about it and they can have it for their whole life. Anything else that I've missed?
Really just explaining the problems that it can cause, which are seizures and epilepsy and fatigue and stuff like that.
So how would you both say that it affects your daily life?
To be honest, I'm starting to come out of the other side of it now, so it's not affecting my daily life too much anymore.
So for me, I still have seizures and I get a lot of fatigue. And so therefore that obviously makes my life a bit difficult in a sense of I've got to be careful as to what I do and where I go, so that if I do have seizures, I'm in a safe space where some people actually know what to do.
That's always helpful.
Yep.
So, Will, I don't know if you want to say anything about what it was like before, because you said that you're coming out of it now a little bit, or if you want to just...
To be honest, mine wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. I only ever had one proper seizure, so I kind of got out quite lucky. But I have had surgery to have it removed, which is what's started making stuff better.
Okay. So the next question is, how does your condition affect your family life?
At first, I think there was a bit of a fear to go out anywhere because you don't know what's going to happen. And you don't know if something's going to go wrong, and you don't know where you're going to be if it goes wrong. So it was kind of that always really, really close to home, never really going too far. But yeah.
I think mine's the same as Will, but I think my family have sort of got used to it. And when I have my sort of smaller seizures, is a bit of a, now they're like, oh, she's had a seizure, she'll be out of it in a few seconds. You know, we're fine. And they've sort of got used to the fact that I do have seizures.
So was it quite quick for you both to get diagnosed, or how was your diagnosis journey like?
Okay, first, my diagnosis was within 4 days of my seizure. So I had a seizure. A few days later, I was diagnosed.
So mine was a bit of a interesting diagnosis. So in 2018, I had scans on my ear because I've got a problem in my ears, but that's a story for another day. And we got the report back, and it was one line about my ears and several lines about my brain. And we just read the word Cavernoma, and we were a bit like, what is a Cavernoma? And so we spoke to a neurologist and neurosurgeon, and they explained. But really, it didn't affect me until 2020, which is when I had my first big seizure. So that was my diagnosis journey.
Okay, so I was also going to ask if there's a specific type of test that you have to do when finding these kind of things out, or is it more of, for example, with you, Will, where you had a seizure and then it kind of came from there, or?
So there's two main types of cavernoma. There's one type which is a malformation at birth and in early development, which is the type that I had. But because I had more than one cavernoma, they thought it would be the genetic version. So they do a small genetic screening test as well.
Anything else you want to add, Iona?
Well, a lot of cavernomas are found when they do MRI scans and CT scans, but a lot of the time, as Will said, a lot of the time they're not symptomatic, so you wouldn't even go for one because you wouldn't be aware. But when they do become symptomatic, they're normally found out through CT and MRI scans.
It's 1 in 625 people have a cavernoma that's asymptomatic.
So the next question is, how does your condition affect your school life, education, and or work?
So at first mine was causing fatigue as well, and it was making me struggle in school because I had to stop and take time out to go and rest. But now I've had surgery and I'm starting to get better. I'm not as fatigued and it's not affecting my school or work life that much anymore.
So for me, because I still get fatigue, it did affect my education the whole way through. I am going back to college in August, so I'm excited to actually get back into some sort of proper structure in my week. But I think how it will affect it when I go back in is fatigue and having to explain to other students about my seizures and hoping that they are understanding of that. And I think that's one thing, is actually the other people around you taking acceptance of that.
Yeah, so when you say you're going to college in August, do you mean like for the first time?
No, so I was in college and then we moved up to Scotland. We were living in England, so that's me going to college in Scotland to get some qualifications in Scotland.
So what will you be doing?
I'm going to be doing Introduction to Film and Broadcasting at my local college, so I'm excited for that.
That's very exciting. So the next question is, how does your condition impact your social life?
So at first, my social life was very limited because I couldn't really go out without people. But now it's starting to get back to what a normal teenager would be doing, nearly. I just can't have alcohol because of my medication.
I think for me, it affects my social life because I've got to be careful as to who I go out with to make sure that I've always got at least one person who's aware of my epilepsy and to give me my medication if I need it, which, touch wood, I haven't ever needed to use it so far. And obviously, as Will said, I can't drink because of the medication, which really I've never drank before, so it's a bit like I'm not really missing anything because it's not as though I went from drinking to then not being able to. So I don't really, it doesn't bother me. But I think it's something that other people are a bit like, oh, you don't drink, because it's such a big thing nowadays to go out and have a drink when you're my age.
Yeah, it's quite a social thing to do, especially in, say, like college or something.
Yeah. So it's just, again, people understanding that it's not my choice to, not do that.
Yeah. Well, there's other activities that don't require drinking. So if if people understood that, it should hopefully be okay.
Yeah.
So how has your condition affected your hobbies, and have you had to adapt to these in different ways?
So here we go. I do a lot of sailing. I'm a sailing instructor and I sail. I used to sail on the international team and now sail on the national team. When I was first diagnosed, it kind of all stopped because it was if I had a seizure on the water, what would happen? So they decided that I should wear a proper life jacket instead of a buoyancy aid, which would turn me onto my back. And then that kind of sorted out that problem. And then they found another problem, which was that if I bumped my head while sailing, it could cause my cavernoma to bleed again. So they decided that I should wear a helmet. But with these adaptations, I've been able to continue, and they started to go as I've continued to get better.
That's really good that they managed to find a way to accommodate you.
Yeah.
For me, luckily, really my hobbies haven't been affected a lot, but I do performing arts, and so obviously the one thing we do have to be careful of, so far they haven't triggered any, but obviously lights can trigger seizures, so it's just being careful of, if I am on stage in a production, being aware that I could suddenly go into a seizure because of the lights. But so far that's not happened, so we're all good.
What could people do to help make your daily life easier?
I think it's, as I've said before, people may be getting more of an awareness of, maybe not necessarily cavernomas, because that's such a hard thing to actually fully understand, but getting an awareness of stuff such as epilepsy and being aware of what to do if you witness someone having a seizure. Because so many people will see someone having a seizure and be like, I don't know what to do. And it's sort of panic. But it's important that some people do actually think, do you know what, I want to find out what I can do to help if I do see someone having a seizure. So I think that's something people can do to help. Anything, Will?
No.
No.
It's very much a kind of, a lot of people wouldn't spot it. If me or Iona were walking down the road and you walked past us, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
It's a hidden disability. It's not
Yeah.
a visible disability.
So do you think it would help if people were kind of a bit more empathetic, I guess, to people that maybe they don't know, anyone's walking down the street and they might have something, right? So do you think something, just more awareness about hidden disabilities in general would help?
Even something that's not specific to this, like someone who may be visually impaired, you might not even tell. So it's that kind of getting people to know, to have that awareness that everyone might be going through something that you have no clue they're going through, but just to be there for them if they go, oh, I'm not feeling great, I feel like I might have a seizure, or oh, I'm not feeling great, I need to sit down. It's that kind of awareness that not everyone who's disabled is in a wheelchair or has a walking stick or is holding a white cane.
Mm-hmm. What are some future goals you have, and what obstacles do you face when trying to meet these due to your condition?
So at the moment, I'm aspiring to become a paramedic, but I'm currently having problems with the DVLA and getting a license. So to do my university courses on it, most of them require you to have a driving license to participate, because you kind of have to make your way to an ambulance station during the night and during the day and during times when buses might not be running.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only limitation I've got, is getting a driving license.
I think I'm similar to Will in a sense of, because I've still got seizures, I cannot drive, so it's relying on my parents, public transport, other family members to help me get to places I need to go, to take part in hobbies and stuff that can help me in the future, such as getting to college and stuff like that. So it's just things like, yeah.
So, and lastly, we do always ask our guests, do you have any advice for someone watching who has your condition or any other young person living with a rare disease?
My advice would be, don't worry about it. You've got a word, probably a really long word that's been written on a piece of paper in front of you. That really long word on that piece of paper does not define you. You can still do pretty much everything. There's just some little changes that need to happen for you to continue.
I think it's hard to actually give advice, but people with any rare disease, I say, similar to Will, get on with your life as you would, because there's not really much else you can do. It's not as though you can time travel and go back and change the fact that you've got your condition. You've literally got to carry on. So obviously there's limitations to what you might be able to do depending on what your rare disease is, but just carry on and try to do as much as you can whilst you can, really.
There's no magical fairy who can come and take it away. You are the magical fairy. You shape your life. You choose what you want to do. And if there's something that you get told, oh, you can't do that, there's probably, if you talk to someone around you, there's probably someone around you who can help you do something similar.
Yeah.
Like I can't go skydiving after having my surgery, but I can go indoor skydiving. There's the compromise, still doing it. Same thing, different place.
Thank you everyone for watching and for Iona and William for joining us today. It's been great learning about cavernomas and how it affects you in your daily lives. If you want to get involved with Rare Youth Revolution through one of our Rare Talks, get in touch with us through our website or social media channels, which will be linked at the end of this video.
If anyone wants more information, go to cavernomalliance.co.uk.
Yeah.
And if you're a young person, there's a section called My Caver Voice, which is targeted towards young people. My birthday was ages ago, but the balloons are still alive, so they're just sat in the back of my room.
Is it a dinosaur that you have?
No, it's a seahorse.
Oh, from like when it was like moving, it kind of looked like a dinosaur. Oh, I see it now. Okay.
I'm going to quickly have to go to get something from the door.
I just hope my dog doesn't start barking.
It's been great learning about sarcomas and how it affects you in your daily lives.
Did you say sarcomas?
I'm so sorry. That's the next Rare Talks that I'm doing, and I just got completely mixed up. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. It's
Okay.
absolutely fine.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's,
right.
it's better that you do it, because I have junior doctors who come up to me and do the same thing. Like I'll have a doctor come up to me and go, you have cavernomas or something, and it's just like,
Do I?
No. Mad when and then when you say to someone, like when my mum comes into hospital with me, say after I've had a seizure, she'll be like, so she's got cavernoma. They'll be like, caver what?
And what's that again?
Yeah.
At one point, I had a little leaflet in my bag explaining what it was when I was going to hospital.
Oh
I had a little bag that was ready to go to hospital, and there was a little leaflet in front that told them what it was. And it got pinned on the notice board behind the nurse's desk at the local hospital.
So do you, I guess, not see like the same person, like one consultant at each time?
It's kind of that you go into A&E and whoever's in A&E is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have like regular hospital appointments or anything like that?
Yeah.
You do. I do, but I suppose it's if you do have a seizure and end up having to go into hospital, it's not always going to be your specific consultant.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.